Our Eris game starts atop Bascom Hill with two distinct paths that you can take. As a user, your experience will depend on the choice you make in the first conversation, which is based upon you either going to a school-wide toga party put on by Pail and Shovel or not. If you decide to join the Pail and Shovel Toga Party, you will receive your toga and will be introduced to Jim Malone and Leon Varjan, the characters that will guide you throughout the rest of your journey.
The first mission that Jim and Leon send you on begins at the bottom of Bascom Hill. At the base of the hill, Jim will greet you and give you 3 flamingos to place on the hill as part of a demonstration to gain publicity for his Pail and Shovel party. After that task is completed, Jim suggests that you stop by the Memorial Union to check out one of their biggest events that is in the final planning stages and almost ready to carry out.
Once you arrive at the Union Terrace, you are asked to help Jim and Leon find the perfect place on the lake to construct a fake Statue of Liberty to be placed on Lake Mendota. Jim hands you a pair of binoculars to help scope out the perfect spot to place the statue. As soon as you receive your binoculars, you find the spot and then move on to the next event, admiring the immense amount of planning and effort it took to pull off something like this.
The next section of the game takes you to busy Library Mall in the middle of campus. You are fulfilling a task that Jim and Leon promised to make happen, but never got around to doing themselves. If the $70,000 student budget was turned into pennies and divided up between the students, this is where it was planned to have happened. There was planned to be a giant pool of pennies on Library Mall that was up for grabs for students, courtesy of Pail and Shovel. Just another example of some of the outrageous promises that Pail and Shovel made during their term in office.
In the last stage of the game, Jim welcomes you with great news. He explains that you have achieved your goal of assisting the Pail and Shovel Party to win re-election. You successfully helped Jim and Leon get re-elected and are free to enjoy all of their crazy events for another year.
The second path for the user is to join forces with the Daily Cardinal.
If the user chooses against the Pail and Shovel Party at the Toga Party, they will continue on to meet Josh Portillo, an editor and writer for the Daily Cardinal. At this point, Josh hires you for an entry-level position at the Daily Cardinal as an observer of the Pail and Shovel Party's abuse of power.
You will then continue on to your first day of work with the Daily Cardinal. The user's first task is to observe Bascom Hill and try to understand the amount of money that the Pail and Shovel Party wasted on the Pink Flamingo prank. As a member of the Daily Cardinal, it is your duty to observe and take notes at the event in order to write an article about it in the future.
The user finds out that the Pail and Shovel Party is planning to build the Statue of Liberty on Lake Mendota. An opposer of the Pail and Shovel Party informs the user that she is part of a group planning to burn the statue down. After informing Josh of the Pail and Shovel Party's plan to build the Statue of Liberty on Lake Mendota, he rewards you with your first paycheck and encourages you to keep finding more top news stories.
Upon reaching Library Mall, the user finds out that the Pail and Shovel Party wants to turn the student government budget into pennies and allow students to shovel up their portion. This prank sparks even more anger in the Daily Cardinal members and other opposers of Pail and Shovel as they realize that their money is being wasted in more outlandish ways.
After all of your hard work, you find out that the Pail and Shovel Party has been re-elected. Even though the majority of the student body doesn't see their outrageous acts as wasteful, you will still stand by your decisions against the Pail and Shovel Party. Since the Pail and Shovel Party won re-election, you lost your job at the Daily Cardinal. The game is over.
No matter which path the user decides to take throughout the game, the main point of the game is to educate the player and expose them to types of events that our firm, Students for Students for Students, hopes to carry out. With this game, we hope to encourage student participation by giving students the opportunity to interconnect with one another.